There are days when the world breaks in quiet ways. Not with explosions, not with big cinematic moments. Just a sentence you did not expect. A message that never came. A door that closed softly but still somehow slammed inside your chest. You know those days. The ones where your heart feels like a room after an argument. Everything's still standing, but nothing in the same place anymore. You go through the motions, you smile when you are supposed to, you answer when people call your name, but inside there is this ache that will not sit still. It creeps into everything, like smoke after a fire, making even normal things feel different. When someone hurts you, it can feel like the end of the world. It feels personal, sharp, specifically aimed at the softest part of you. You start to think, what is wrong with me? Why was I not enough? Why did they do this? Why did this happen? You replay what they said, how they said it, the exact moment you realized things had changed. Your mind becomes a courtroom with no judge, just endless cross-examination. You are allowed to feel that. You are allowed to hurt. You do not need to rush your pain like it is an inconvenience. When something cracks inside you, it deserves to be acknowledged. You are not too sensitive for feeling deeply. You are not weak for needing time. You are human, and sometimes humans break. But here is a strange thing about people hurting people. Most of the time, it was not just about you. The words they threw at you, the silence they weaponized, the betrayal, the disrespect, the way they disappeared without explanation, all of that came from a place inside them that was already bleeding. People rarely get up one day and say, I am perfectly fine and I think I will just go ruin someone's peace now. That kind of damage usually comes from their own wounds that they never learned how to carry. This does not make what they did okay. Pain is still pain. Wrong is still wrong. It does not mean you have to excuse abuse or let people walk back into your life as if nothing happened. But sometimes seeing that they were also hurting lets you shift the weight off your own shoulders a little. Instead of, what is wrong with me, it becomes, something is wrong in them, and it leaked onto me. Think about it, someone who is secure, peaceful, and healed does not tear others apart for fun. People who know how to love themselves do not usually make a sport out of breaking hearts. A lot of the hurt you have carried came from people who were drowning in their own fears, insecurities, past traumas, and confusion. They did not deal with their storm, so you got caught in their rain. Sometimes they projected on you what they felt about themselves. They called you selfish because they never learned to ask for what they wanted. They called you clingy because they were terrified of being truly seen. They blamed you for their choices because taking responsibility felt too heavy. Maybe they even loved you in the only broken way they knew how, and it still wasn't enough to protect you from the damage. That does not magically erase your pain, but it changes the story. The villain in your mind is no longer a monster built to target only you. They are a flawed human with their own bruises, who did not know what to do with them. Sometimes they did not care to learn. Sometimes they were too immature. Sometimes they were just too lost. Whatever the reason, their hurt collided with your heart, and now you are left picking up pieces. And in the middle of all that, there is another layer most people do not talk about. We hurt ourselves too, not always on purpose, but in the way we speak to ourselves afterwards. You might blame yourself for staying too long, for ignoring red flags, for believing their good moments instead of their consistent patterns. You might replay every chance you had to walk away and beat yourself up for not taking it sooner. You punish yourself silently. You say things in your head like, how could I be so stupid? How did I not see this? I always mess things up. I should have known better. You become your own harshest critic, dragging yourself back through the fire long after the flames have gone out. But here is the truth. You did the best you could with the information, the tools, and the heart you had at the time. You stayed because you hoped. You forgave because you loved. You tried because you believed change was possible. You trusted because your soul is wired for connection, not suspicion. That is not foolishness, that is evidence that despite everything, your heart wanted something real. Now, yes, with hindsight it is easy to see what you should have done. But hindsight is a cheat code. You did not have that clarity back then. You were learning in real time, with emotions, fears, and history in the mix. You are not stupid, you are human. The road back to feeling like yourself again starts with something that sounds small but feels huge. Forgiving yourself, not just saying, I forgive myself, once and then going back to self-blame. Truly starting to release the tight grip you have on your own throat. Letting yourself be a person who made choices from love, from fear, from confusion, from habit. Letting yourself be someone who did not have it all figured out. Forgiving yourself is not pretending it did not hurt. It is not pretending you did everything perfectly. It is standing in front of the mirror and saying, I see exactly where I messed up, where I stayed too long, where I lied to myself, where I tolerated less than I deserved, and I still choose to treat myself with compassion instead of cruelty. You are already carrying the weight of what happened. You do not have to also carry the weight of constant self-punishment. The world has been hard enough on you. Do not join the chorus that tears you down. As you forgive yourself, something quiet starts to happen. The story shifts. Instead of, I ruined everything, you begin to say, I learned something. Instead of, I wasted years, you begin to say, I invested time in a version of me that needed this lesson to grow. Instead of, I will never trust again, you begin to say, I will trust differently, wiser, slower. And then there is the big scary word that people often misunderstand. Forgiveness. Forgiving others does not mean saying, it was fine. It does not mean inviting them back into your life. It does not mean forgetting what they did or allowing them to repeat it. Forgiveness is not a welcome mat. It is a release. Forgiveness says, I refuse to let what you did become a permanent cage around my heart. I refuse to let your choices define every relationship I have next. I refuse to let resentment rent space in my mind for free. I am too tired to keep dragging you around in my thoughts every day, so I am putting you down and walking forward. You can forgive someone and still block them. You can forgive and still keep your distance. You can forgive and still say, you do not get access to me anymore. Boundaries are not hatred, they are self-respect. Sometimes we stay hurt because staying hurt feels like a way to hold on to justice. We think, if I stop being angry and wounded, then it is like they got away with it. But your suffering is not a prison sentence for them, it is mostly a prison for you. They might be living their life, doing whatever, while you replay their actions every night before you sleep. That is not justice, that is torture, and you are the one stuck in the cell. You are allowed to be hurt. You are allowed to cry, to tremble, to feel lost for a while. But do not build a house there. Do not set up permanent furniture in that emotional place. This chapter is not meant to be your whole story. You might be thinking, but how do I move forward when it still hurts? You do it in small ways, one step at a time. You start by allowing yourself to feel, instead of pretending you are fine. Name the pain. Say, I am disappointed. I am angry. I am embarrassed. I am grieving what could have been. You cannot heal what you keep denying. You are allowed to admit, this broke me. Then you begin to separate your identity from the experience. What happened to you is part of your story, but it is not the only chapter. You are not just the one who was cheated on, the one who was abandoned, the one who was rejected, the one who failed. You are also the one who survived, the one who learned, the one who is still here. Moving forward does not mean waking up one day and feeling nothing. It simply means refusing to let this be the only thing that defines your days. It means letting yourself laugh again without feeling guilty. Letting yourself dream new dreams. Letting yourself meet new people without assuming they are all the same as the ones who hurt you. It means slowly rebuilding trust, starting with yourself. Ask, how can I show up for me now? Maybe that looks like therapy. Maybe that looks like journaling. Maybe it looks like changing your patterns, saying no faster, listening to your gut when it whispers instead of waiting until it screams. So if all you can do today is whisper to yourself, I forgive you, even if you do not fully believe it yet, that is a start. If all you can do is think, maybe the person who hurt me was broken too, and I no longer want to carry both their pain and mine, that is a start. If all you can manage is to say, I am hurt, but I am not staying here forever, that is a start. You hurt, it felt like the end of the world, but it was not the end. The world is still turning. Your story is still being written. There is more for you past this moment, past this heartbreak, past this disappointment. Let yourself be hurt, then, slowly, gently, stubbornly, let yourself heal. Forgive yourself. Put down what is not yours. Take one step forward, and then another. However long it takes, keep moving toward the version of you who looks back on this and says, it did not destroy me. It grew me. You are allowed to be hurt. Just do not stay hurt so long that you forget who you are beyond the pain. You are more than what they did. You are more than what you lost. You are a whole person, capable of joy, of love, of starting again. And you will.